The number one thing that people fear is change. This is a picture of the Copernican universe, and you can see here you have the sun at the center of the earth and then the planets going outwards. Before Copernicus, people believed that the earth was the center and everything else went around it. And when he brought this idea forth, even though he was doing something good, he was making information more correct, he was doing his job as a scientist, it caused people to freak out, and he was persecuted for that. Later on, when Galileo supported his idea, Galileo, one of the greatest scientists of the time, one of the most respected scientists of the time, was found guilty of heresy. He was forced to recant. He had to take back what he said, even though it was true, and he was then still put under house arrest. People don't like when changes happen. And as you yourself work to change, there are going to be naysayers who try to hold you back. And they could be, friends, acquaintances, they can even be people in your family. And here's how you can find them. All you need to do is find some change in your life to make that is guaranteed to be positive. It's not like there's two sides. I don't mean like changing political parties where some people agree and other people disagree. I mean something like exercising more, eating healthier, studying harder. Everyone knows that those are good things. There's not two sides to the argument. Everyone knows it's better to eat healthy than to eat a bunch of junk food, for example. If you do that, you'll notice that there'll be some people in your life who will panic and try to make you not do that. They're going to panic and try to hold you back to where they're used to you being. Let's say you're the type of person who never really studies a lot. If you suddenly start studying, it's going to terrify people because they don't like their world to change. Just like at this time, people didn't want their world to change and to understand that the sun was the center of the solar system, not the earth. People who don't want their world to change are going to freak out. They're going to try to make you not change. They want things to be constant and the same. So how do we deal with naysayers? It's not easy. No matter, here we have this picture of this guy, he's making some invention, and everyone around him is saying boo or laughing at him or making fun of him. And that will probably happen to you if you are trying to do something positive with your life. If you're trying to improve yourself, or even trying to invent something, there are going to be people around you who are just going to sit there and try to hold you back. Einstein said, "Great spirits have always encountered opposition from mediocre minds." And what do we mean by a mediocre mind? A mediocre mind is a mind that can't imagine anything different from what they see right in front of them. For example, if somebody around you has a mediocre mind, and let's say you didn't really do any exercise, and you start doing exercise, it makes them panic because they're used to you not doing exercise. They don't want to have the world change. They can't handle that kind of change, so they try to stop you. They'll do whatever they can to stop you. Maybe make fun of you, maybe try to sabotage you, maybe try to give you a bunch of junk food right before your workout so you can't exercise as effectively. Who knows what? But it's very common to see that kind of sabotage. To really understand this, though, we need to look at personality types. Now, this is a description of the Myers-Briggs personality type index. And I want you to look over here at the sensors versus intuitives. Intuitives are people who can imagine things being different. They can say, right now I'm here, but I could be elsewhere. Right now I do this, but I could do something different. They can imagine different realities from what they see right in front of them. Intuitives are abstract thinkers. Intuitives are visionaries. Intuitives are the people who can see the consequences of things farther down the road. Sensors are usually people who are more concrete thinkers. They don't see what can be, they just see what is there. And sensors are often they don't really get this idea of being able to have these big changes, massive changes either in your life or even in the world. They don't really get that. And if a lot of people around you are sensors, they're going to freak out if you try to change. They might try to hold you back. Now, you don't need to worry about them. If somebody's a sensor, that's fine. That's just how they are. That's their personality. But that doesn't have to be your personality. You don't have to hold yourself back. You're born with an imagination. You can imagine different ways that you can be. Maybe right now you're not that good at math, but I bet you can imagine being good at math. And that's what an intuitive can do. Intuitives can imagine things that aren't already there. Sensors, not usually quite as much. Anybody who's holding you back, you don't owe it to anybody to stay the way you are right now. You have the right to make yourself better, even if other people are upset by it. If somebody else is upset by it, that's their problem. But here's the thing. Sometimes it's not just these external people who are sensors or these external people who are there trying to hold you back. Sometimes the person holding you back is yourself. Sometimes it's you who's saying something stupid like, I'm bad at math. When you say that to yourself, you're basically putting yourself in a box. You're telling yourself not to change. And this real struggle you're going to face, whether it's in math or something else entirely, whether it's exercising, whether it's changing the way that you eat, whatever it is, the person who you're going to really need to overcome is not your friends or your parents or your siblings. It's you. If you can tell yourself that, listen, self, I have the right to change. I have the right to be better. I want to be better. I'm going to do things to make myself better. And you might not be used to that, but you're going to have to get used to that because that's what I'm doing. And that's the key of this. You don't owe it to anybody, not even to yourself, to be the same person you are right now. You have every right to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be.